Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Murder tally climbs by 594. The murder tally in Jamaica now stands at 594 as at May 27. This represents a 7% increase year on year. The figure shows that 20 people were killed in the 4 days since the last crime statistics were released by the Jamaica Constabulary Force on May 23rd. At that time, the murder tally was 574. St. James is the first police division to surpass 100 murders with 101, and 44% increase when compared to 70 homicides recorded during the corresponding period in 2021. Westmoreland 61, St. Catherine North 56, St. Andrew South 52, and St. Catherine South 46 round out the top 5 murderous divisions so far this year. Robbery and break-ins have recorded increases. Other major crimes such as shootings, injured persons, and rape have declined. Lone gunman stalks Littis St. Elizabeth residents. Residents of Littis district in St. Elizabeth are livid that they're being preyed upon by a lone gunman who has been terrorizing the community over the past month. According to residents, the lone gunman, described as tall, slim black man, uses a modus operandi where he sticks up unsuspected residents and marches them to their places of residence where he robs them. He then forces his victims to treat their neighbors so that he can gain access to their homes as well. The gunman reported they robbed 4 houses in First Street in Littis on Sunday night using this method. 4 separate houses were robbed Sunday night. The gunman saw someone on the road and stick them up and took them to their house. He spent the 2 hours at the big house, the people them yard, and asked who else in the lane has money. He also asked for chains and gold, but it seems it was mostly phones he was after, a resident told reporters. Littis district is the community of Manchester St. Elizabeth border. Residents say that after robbing that family, the gunman gained access to the neighboring home by forcing his victims to forge an emergency to trick their neighbors. The residents are demanding help from the authorities to address the situation as people are covering in fear. First, them thief and rob the bar in the area. Then the people them stop go bar. So, them gone at the house breaking now. We need help from the police, regular patrols or something. This is the 5th robbery in 2 weeks, one resident complained. The gunman eventually got 5 phones, one of which was later recovered by residents, scourging the bushes, as well as sums of cash close to $5,000. Last week, the gunman robbed Mechanical Mark of 4 phones and about $19,000. The same gunman saw Mark's son outside after him go shop, stick him up and march him back into his house and rob the whole family and took away about 4 phones and the money. We need the Junction Police to do better. All them do is upon the road a check for insurance, and we need protection and regular patrol, the resident said. Head of St. Elizabeth Police Superintendent Dwight Daly told reporters that he had received reports of robbery at one house Sunday night and that gunmen had robbed phones and a small sum of money. Klansman gang trial, another defendant freed following no case submission. Another defendant in the Klansman one-done gang trial was this morning acquitted after the judge upheld a no case submission and refused an application from the prosecution to charge him with a new count. The Crown was seeking to add the count of knowingly providing a benefit to a criminal organization. Dwayne Salmon was charged with 2 counts of being a member of the criminal organization and illegal possession of firearm, but the latter was abandoned by the Crown. Salmon was alleged to have supplied the gang with guns. Leave Linda's Powell's murder sentence alone, says lawyer. Attorney at law Diane Mercy Barrett, who is representing murder convict Lindell Powell, has asked the Court of Appeal not to disturb the sentence of her client. Powell pleaded guilty to the January 2017 murders of Earl McIntosh and Ida Clark and was sentenced last December to 12 years imprisonment. Powell would only serve 12 years as the sentences are to run concurrently. Supreme Court Justice Bertrand Morrison, who tried the case, ruled that he would be eligible for parole after serving 10 years. Given all the circumstances, he made a wise decision, the best decision, and he delivered a sentence that ought not to be changed, the lawyer said yesterday morning on day 2 of the historic prosecutorial appeal. This is the first case brought by prosecutors since the law was changed last year, giving limited rights to appeal against acquittals and sentences. The attorney added that the learned senior judge did not err in principle or on the side of the law. In her submission, Director of Public Prosecutions DPP Paula Llewellyn argued that the sentence was unduly lenient and said a fixed sentence was inappropriate given Paul's previous convictions. Llewellyn recommended that Paul be sentenced to life imprisonment with eligibility for parole between 20 to 28 years. That reeks of injustice, and it does so because at no point throughout this matter was there any talk of 28 years. They don't say so in their submissions either. They asked for life for 20, but their oral said they did want to go for 28 years. Is this person, Lindell Powell, not a man? Hasn't he offended? Hasn't he accepted his responsibility? His lawyer asked. The Court of Appeal will consider the submissions, review the transcripts and the arguments advanced, and notify accordingly when the court's decision is ready. Court of Appeal Justices Frank Williams, Nicole Simmons, and Evan Brown are hearing the matter. The matter was adjourned at 10:32 a.m. yesterday. Attorney being sought by police struck off role. It has come to light that Keith Jarrett, who was yesterday listed as a person of interest by the police, has been struck off the list of lawyers authorized to practice in Jamaica by the General Legal Counsel GLC. Jarrett, according to documents seen by reporters, has been disbarred since July 28, 2021. The matter against Jarrett was brought by the GLC following a report of professional misconduct which dates back to 2017. Nova MacDonald is on record as the complainant on one application under the Legal Professional Act and supporting affidavit dated November 23, 2017. Jarrett reported they did not appear before the GCL's disciplinary committee on July 28, 2018 and September 29, 2018. The GLC said Jarrett failed to find accountants' reports and failed to file declarations for the years 2014, 2015, and 2016. It is appealed the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch CTOC said Jarrett is being sought as investigators believe he may be able to assist with an ongoing investigation into an alleged case of fraud. Jarrett has been asked to turn himself in immediately. I'm not pleased. Alton White, the father of 24-year-old Chantel White, who was shot dead on December 31, 2019, is displeased with the sentencing which was handed down in the Manchester Circuit Court on Tuesday to Andre Bromfield, who pleaded guilty to the crime. On Tuesday, Bromfield was sentenced to 18 years and 5 months in prison for killing Chantel, whom he reportedly had an intimate relationship with. White, who was employed as an inventory clerk at the supermarket where Bromfield was also a supervisor, was in the lunchroom and co-workers when Bromfield reportedly shot her in the face with his licensed firearm. He had pleaded guilty to manslaughter in a plea deal on May 16. He had initially been charged with illegal possession of firearm and murder. However, he pleaded not guilty to those charges. The murder charge was later reduced to manslaughter after Bromfield indicated in his caution statement that he was provoked by White. Following yesterday's morning sentencing, White said he was very displeased. I'm not pleased about this whole situation. There is no justice there. All of these people will sit down and cook up them story. If it is a big man child, it wouldn't be like this, White said. A life, when the rain fall, fall upon one man house top. Remember that. Life is one big road with a lot of signs. White said he did not even get a chance to have his say in court. I'm sitting down here. I do have the opportunity to go into the court. I don't even get the chance to say something and see why it has to be like this. I'm so fed up, he added. Labour held in St. Thomas gang bus freed. A St. Catherine man who was charged with possession of 178 pounds of ganja was freed yesterday following a no-case submission by attorney at law Courtney Foster. Raina Montague, 33, was freed in the St. Thomas Parish Court as the Crown could not provide that he was in possession of the 35 packages of ganja which were found inside the house. He had journeyed from St. Catherine to Retrieve Cove in Morant Bay, St. Thomas on May 24, 2019 to paint a house when he was arrested and charged. I'm feeling very overwhelmed. Words can't explain how I am feeling that I am free. Montague remarked after he was acquitted. Police witnesses testified that Montague was on the premises when they went there and they took him into the living room. The police said the 35 packages containing ganja were found in the living room. Montague was charged with possession of ganja, dealing in ganja, and taking steps preparatory to export ganja. When cautioned, he said it was the first time he was seeing the packages. During cross-examination, the police witnesses denied suggestions that the ganja was found in a locked room and not in the living room. They also denied suggestion that they had collided to tell a police inspector that the ganja was found in the living room instead of the locked room. One of the policemen under cross-examination said that the house had over 20 rooms and was partially painted. The witnesses admitted that Montague told them he was a laborer before the packages were found. One of the policemen said he could not recall if painting supplies were inside the house. After the prosecution closed its case, Foster submitted that no investigation was done by the police because Montague was charged the same day. Foster said no interview was conducted for Montague because no question and answer interview was done. Submitting further, Foster argued that there was no evidence that the smell of ganja was emanating from the house so as to cause a reasonable person to believe ganja was inside the premises. Foster submitted the credibility of the police witnesses was significantly undetermined and they failed to lead sufficient evidence to satisfy the ingredients of the offenses. Foster asked the judge to free Montague because the prosecution did not prove that he was in possession of the packages of ganja. Parish Judge Tracy Robinson upheld the no-case submissions and freed Montague. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.